Say guys, Dr. Matt. Uh, I want to make this video about this razor because I'm really excited about this. I've had this razor for over a month and I've been doing all kinds of stuff with it, and I've been pretty excited with the results, so I wanted to kind of tell you the story about it. I think it should be told. It started when someone had commented on one of my videos and he was kind of giving me a hard time, and he was really just razzing me. He really was a fan of the channel, but we kind of went back and forth and talked about a few things. And anyway, I started to see some of his posts on Facebook on some of the shaving groups, and he was holding razors and showing them, like a little video of him turning around, and I just kind of assumed he was sharpening razors or refurbishing razors. I mean, his name is Boris, and Boris, from his picture on Facebook, looks like he's about 16. So I just figured, he just sharpening razors, a young kid. So I asked him in one of the comments of that little short video clip he had, I said, are you sharpening these? Are you refurbishing? What are you doing? And he says, no. He said, I make them. And I went, really? So I started asking him a few questions. And the few questions I asked him, I really liked the answers to. So I said to him, well, what are the chances, you can send me a razor? I'd love to try and shake with it. I'd love to see, what you're doing. And he said, well, I really don't have any razors to send you. He said, I'll tell you what. He says, I'll make a razor for you and I'll send it to you. And if you like it, great. You can buy it. If not, just send it back. And I was like, all right, fair enough. So then I asked him, I said, do you have a video of you doing the grinds? And he said, well, that's kind of proprietary stuff. He goes, razor makers really don't share that stuff. And I went, really? I said, I thought I've seen some videos online. He said, yeah, he says you may have, but no one doing full hollow grinds. And he says, I can send you a video. He says, just promise me you won't share it with anybody. I said, that's fine. I said, that's cool. I can respect that. So anyway, he sent me the video. And within about 2 minutes of watching this video, I knew this kid was onto something. What I saw in that video, I got right back in touch with him. I said, you got to send me one. I said, I got to try this. I got to see what it is. What I saw you doing is something I hadn't seen or heard of. And I said, I got to try this. So he said, yeah, no problem. He said, what do you want? I mean, he makes full custom razors. He said, what do you want? How do you want it? I said, well, I've seen some of your razors and they're really beautiful. I said, but I'm just a real plain guy. I said, I just want a plain razor. I said, basically, I want it kind of short. I think it's like 2 inches there and, square. And I think it's a third hollow and, just real basic stuff. These are the Kieranite scales that I had him put on. I actually sent him the Kieranite. He doesn't stock it. But I said, I just want it real basic. He said, no problem. So what was really cool is that he sent me like this computerized drawing of the razor first with all the measurements, like a CAD CAM kind of thing, all the measurements on there. And he did the same for the scales too, how he was going to cut those out. And it was all, so I could approve all of it and everything like that. It was pretty cool. Anyway, when he makes razors, first off, what he does is he starts from bar stock. He does not start from blanks. A lot of guys start with blanks. Most everyone has blanks. All of the German razors, all blanks, all the same blanks from the same place. A lot of custom guys are using blanks from usually German blanks or elsewhere. But he doesn't do that. He starts from just a piece of bar stock and cuts it out and then goes to grinding from there. So I thought that was pretty cool because you're not going to be limited by what that blank has to offer. You can pretty much do your own thing. Anyway, so I guess it was about a month later, the razor arrives, and I look at it, and of course you can see it's beautiful. But honestly, that doesn't mean anything to me. I want to know how this thing works. So I tested it, and I did a shave with it the next morning, and I was like, wow, this thing is awesome. Shaved beautifully. but to be honest with you, that I didn't trust that, because I don't know if you guys ever shave. You know, I mean, when you shave, you can have the same razor have a really good shave one day and a really crummy one the next day, and then you think it's the edge, but you don't. Even if you don't do anything, sometimes you shave the next time and then it works out great. So you know, I know it has to do with my skin. My skin can be sensitive some days. Anyway, I've been using it over a month, and I got to tell you, this thing is awesome. Now, I know there's great razors out there, but this thing shaves like something I've never used before, and I started to get into detail with him as far as what it is that he does and how he does it. And of course, you know, a lot of it's proprietary. But I can't tell you what I saw on the video, but I can tell you it has to do with heat management. He was telling me it's about preserving the grain structure of the steel. Now, I'm not a metallurgist and I don't know about all of that stuff, but I know that heat management in a razor, not just grinding, but your heat treatment, your hardening, your tempering, and all of that stuff, that's all critical, and there are critical formulas for doing this. At what temperature it should be, how long do you hold it there, how do you quench it, how fast do you quench it, in what direction do you put it in the quench. I mean, there's so many things, and none of them I know. But I can tell you, this is, by a mile, the best shaving razor I've ever used. Time and time again, I've put several different edges on it, and every time, fantastic. As far as comfort level, as far as closeness, repeatedly, this thing comes online for me. Yeah, you know, I talk a lot about Phillies, and they were usually, you know, and I love the Phillies. Those are great old vintage razors. Nothing compares to this. Well, this thing beats everything that I've used. Now, I know I've gotten in arguments with some people, and some people say that steel doesn't matter. It's all about the edge. The edge is important, but when you get down to that last few percent and that very subtle difference, steel means a ton. As far as the steel that he uses in this razor, he uses a European equivalent of O1 tool steel. I guess they don't have O1 tool steel there. They have an equivalent. I forget some kind of fancy numbers. I'll put it down there. But again, okay. So as far as an O1 tool steel, I have a Brian Brown semi-custom O1 tool steel, shaves very well. This one still shaves better. It's heat management. It's heat management, preserving the grain structure of these things. So these, I'm telling you guys, I paid full price for this razor. This is not a promotional deal. I couldn't wait to come and talk about this because I was so excited about whatever it is that he does. Like I said, his name's Boris. River Razors. Was that an R on there? Yeah, River Razors. You can find him on Facebook. I'll put an email where you can contact him. He doesn't have a website. He doesn't do this as his job. This is just a sideline, more of a hobby for him. He said he can make, at best, he can do one razor a week. If you're interested in these razors, you can contact him with the information I just told you about. Look down in the description or on the screen, wherever I put it, or both. But yeah, it would take him some time. But he can do whatever you want on there. I just like my stuff very basic. Oh, also what I was going to say, I don't think beginners need this razor, because to be honest with you, and I don't mean to sound like a snob, but guys that are just starting out, you know, even within their first year, I don't know if they would really appreciate the beauty of the feel and the way that this thing sharpens up. You need to really have some time under your belt to really appreciate and notice this. I mean, of course, you know, they work great for beginners, but you know, this is really a fine, high-functioning piece of art at its highest level, you know, like a really fine-tuned Formula One car. This is a beautiful piece. By far, the best razor I've ever shaved with. I haven't used anything for over a month. Anything else, I don't know. I mean, this thing shaves so well. I had to make it somewhat of a heavier grind. I told him, I said, this thing shaves so good, I'm going to have to try one of your full hollows, because my issue with full hollows is I just don't think they're as comfortable as these. However, with what he can do with these, I'm willing to bet that his full hollow is just as amazing, or probably more, because, like I said, thinner, those things are a little bit thinner steel behind the edge. Anyway, all right, guys, that's it. I just had to tell you about that. If you want to contact Boris, look in the description. If you have any questions for me, email me, drmatt1911@gmail.com. You guys have a great day, a great shave. Enjoy your night. We'll see you real soon.